Get ready, start. 22. It is not disputed that the appropriate government has power to take disciplinary proceedings against the appellant and that he could be removed from service by an order of the central government, but it was contended that IS officers are governed by statutory rules that any act or omission referred to in Rule 4 in bracket I relates only to an act or omission of an officer when serving under the government, means subject to the administrative control of the government, and that disciplinary proceedings should be therefore on the basis of the relationship of master and servant. Stop. It was argued that in exercising his statutory powers, the commissioner was not subject to the administrative control of the government, and disciplinary proceedings cannot therefore be instituted against the appellant in respect of an act or omission committed by him in the course of his employment as commissioner. Stop. We are unable to accept the proposition contended by the appellant as correct. Stop. Rule 4 in bracket I does not impose any limitation or qualification as to the nature of the act or omission in respect of which disciplinary proceedings can be instituted. Stop. Rule 4 in bracket 1 in bracket B merely says that the appropriate government competent to institute disciplinary proceedings against a member of the service would be the government under whom such member was serving at the time of the commission of such act or omission. Stop. It does not say that the act or omission must have been committed in the discharge of his duty or in the course of his employment as a government servant. Stop. It is therefore open to the government to take disciplinary proceedings against the appellant in respect of his acts or omissions which cast a reflection upon his reputation for integrity or good faith or devotion to duty as a member of the service. Stop. It is not disputed that the appellant was, at the time of the alleged misconduct, employed as the first member of the Board of Revenue, and he was at the same time performing the duties of commissioner under the act in addition to his duties as the first member of the Board of Revenue. Stop. Para change. 23. In our opinion, it is not necessary that a member of the service should have committed the alleged act or omission in the course of discharge of his duties as a servant of the government in order that it may form the subject matter of disciplinary proceedings. Stop. In other words, if the act or omission is such as to reflect on the reputation of the officer for his integrity or good faith or devotion to duty, there is no reason why disciplinary proceedings should not be taken against him for that act or omission, even though the act or omission relates to an activity in regard to which there is no actual master and servant relationship. Stop. To put it differently, the test is not whether the act or omission was committed by the appellant in the course of the discharge of his duties as servant of the government. Stop. The test is whether the act or omission was some reasonable connection with nature and condition of his service, or whether the act or omission has cast any reflection upon the reputation of the member of the service for integrity or devotion to duty as a public servant. Stop. We are of the opinion that even if the appellant was not subject to the administrative control of the government when he was functioning as commissioner under the act and was not the servant of the government subject to its orders at the relevant time, his act or omission as commissioner could form the subject matter of disciplinary proceedings provided the act or omission would reflect upon his reputation for integrity or devotion to duty as a member of the service. Stop.